Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6-player Phantom match on the map, Bunny Roanoke. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with the northern player at the 12 o'clock position, and then going around clockwise, we have in Ruby Red, Freedom Cobra. He is an Aeon for this match as a 900. In the 2 o'clock position, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, Nick 01 as a Seraphim. He is a 1600. In the 4 o'clock position to his south, we have another Seraphim. It is Shimras. I guess how you say his name. He is a 1700. In Batman Gray, in the 6 o'clock position, we have in Royal Blue, Ickness. I don't know about the H there. I'll probably call him Ick for short. He is a Seraphim as well. He is a 1200. In the 10 o'clock position to his northwest is the Snow White player of Just an Addict. He is a Seraphim as an 1100. And in the 10 o'clock position here to the northwest, to the north of him, I should say, we have the Aeon players, Sir Traylin. I think it's how you pronounce that correctly. He is in lightish red pink. I was going to say Barbie pink. That is not Barbie pink. And he is, again, as an Aeon as a 1600. So in the entirety of this game, there are 2 Aeons and 4 Seraphim players. So no UEF and no Cyberns. Apologies to those loyal to the old Earth Empire and to those spiky space socialists. Hopefully you enjoy the game nonetheless. And, of course, we're going to speed things up here and get our players up and running. Phantom games, of course, are very kind of boring in the beginning, and then they just go crazy as the game progresses. We are seeing, of course, lots of players building those hives to expedite the engineering nonsense in this game that is required to produce all of those beautiful, beautiful naval units we love to see in this game. Unfortunately, due to my ACU highlight mod, and due to the fact that in Phantom, Seraphim don't normally have RASCOMs, so they have to be gifted them over, and because of that, all of them get highlighted. So we're going to have a lot of highlighted commanders, all these yellow rings around them, running around the map. So I'm going to try to keep track of all of the actual, like the human players, not the SACUs. Well, I guess they're human control, but they're not actually. Anyway, you get what I mean. I'll try to do my best to keep track of that, but I make no promises. Oh, I know what Shimras is, so that's one of the 4 that I can keep track of quite nicely. And based on the income so far, it looks like Nick and Justin Attic are the Phantom players, and Ick on the south is the Paladin, meaning he gets, I forget what the percentage of their bonuses is, but he gets essentially, I think it's maybe half of what their bonus is just to keep up. You can see the discrepancy here. 2K almost down to 600, almost 550 for Freedom Cobra. And this isn't, I don't know if it's the best option for innocent players. You have a Phantom most likely over here and another Phantom over here. And there's 2 innocents on either side. You can easily see a situation where these 2 Phantoms will gang up on this side and then switch to this side. But it's also worse if it was Phantom, Innocent, Phantom. Those 2 Phantom players would gang up on the one in the middle quite easily. So it just depends on where our Phantoms want to go this early in the game. Of course, we're already at 20 minutes on the clock. And like I said, I speed things up in this game just because it's not boring, but there's not really a lot of action going on. Nick Broke says Sir Traylon, so it looks like Team Phantom, or at least one of the 2 Phantoms, has made their move. You can see that reflected with this. Actually, no, that said Sir Traylon broke, so why does everybody see everything? He's attacking. Oh, there it goes. It does show it. It was just, there were spy planes overhead. That makes way more sense. It's like he shouldn't be able to still see his forces, but okay. Thank you for going away, mass panel. We are seeing, of course, buildup of the Yassals running around, trying to deny the Hathum battleships that are inbound. They can build nukes on board. It looks like White broke as well, so that would be just an addict. So the combat has commenced even before the players have been discovered or revealed to the world. They decided to engage sooner rather than later. Awasab Bomber over the top very early here from just an addict. Wants to knock out Sir Traylon immediately. That is a nice Awasab Bomber. Yeah, that's probably one of the earliest I've ever seen in Phantom in general. Another bomb has been dropped. Ooh, lands right on top of Sir Tranland's commander. Ooh, 3,000 hit points remaining. Good thing he had the shield, because he would be a dead commander in that regard. He is going to get a little bit of reclaim, though. 16,000 mass for his troubles, but he has suffered some losses in his power and his mass. There are some strap bombers inbound to sow the seeds of chaos. Looks like they're going after one of the headquarters, but there's actually multiple of them, which is actually, in this mode, very smart move to do, because that way if one is knocked out, you can still produce T3 Navy, and only having one is not the best idea. You gotta have a backup in this game. Lots of battleships inbound here to the east, as well as the Yasows coming in not only from Shimras, but also from Ik from the southwest. He wants to help his teammate out as much as possible. We are seeing forces inbound from the west against Ignis. You can see Ignis is that's the wrong player. You can see he's sees those Yasows. They are inbound. And the Seraphim battleships don't have torp defenses. I think the Aeons do. No, they have TMD. No. They don't have torp defenses. For some reason, I thought battleships have torp defenses, but I guess not. But the Yasows do, of course. Freedom Cobra builds an experimental. He is Aeon, so what did he build? The players have been build. Let the games begin. Well, they've already been revealed games, so you don't really need to worry about that. We're seeing some, or hearing some explosions rumbling around. Those are SACUs for sure. And look at this pressure mounting here from Nick. Already at 2.8k mass income. That's not reclaim. That's not, any sort of thing. That is legitimate numbers. It is very scary how much mass those Phantom players can produce. Large buildup of Yasows as well. I can kind of see where the Seraphim strategy is coming in. The Phantom idea. T3 sub-hunters, and they are just ripping apart all of the Shimras SACUs. He's nicknamed them himself. So if you zoom in, you can see all of the names of himself. So it's really hard to determine who he is. So not only does the highlight mod not come into play, this is actually him. But on an early glance, like just a quick glance, you're like, oh, that's very annoying. Some AA defenses trying to be deployed. Don't understand why. Needs to get some torp defenses online just to assist. The Exodus has begun. The position for Shimras is not looking good. Lots of these Yasou essentially providing a nice little buffer zone for all of these battleships, and they are just pumping out shots. This position is going down very, very quickly. The aircraft carriers are fleeing to the safety of Ik's position, and even these Yasous are being completely just bloodlusting for all of these SACUs. Look at this. He's not letting any of them get away. He's like, well, that's him. No, that's not him. He's just going to keep going after him until he gets the kill. And it is a no-share. Well, yeah, it's a no-share game. So if a player dies, all of their stuff goes up in flames. So it's very important for everybody specifically, but also the Phantoms as well, to keep their commander safe, secure, and not known to anybody. I wonder if the Phantom players are... Yeah, they are allied with one another, so they can share intel on what's going on and whatnot. Another Albasaw bomber online for Justin Attic. Oh no, those strap bombers are inbound. That does not look good for Ik's position down here. Team Phantom is focusing the southeastern side of the map, and they've already knocked out one innocent. One remains down here. There's a lot of AA on board these aircraft carriers, but those bombers are starting to get through, and they're going after the... That's not the comm, so there's nothing to worry there. There's the comm of Ignis right there. Gonna drop on top of all of those hives, and it looks like the hives are keeping themselves alive with that shield on board. We'll lose a couple of their buddies, unfortunately. Some aircraft inbound from Shimras to try to help deal with the ASFs from Justin Attic. But look at this. This entire position is gone. Not even 27 minutes on the clock. And Shimras is knocked out for a long time. He got a couple of SACUs out, but not many. So his eco is not looking good. Only 100 mass per second. And these battleships are not going anywhere. We even see some cruisers deploying those missiles as well to just keep this constantly moving, not allowing Ik to really rest and having to constantly micro his forces. Of course, the Yassaos are a different story. You can kind of let them sit a little bit. It's just how much can you spam one way or the other. It comes down to numbers, specifically because, of course, the battleships don't have any sort of torp differences on board. The cruisers don't as well, but I wonder if the aircraft carriers for the Seraphim do. Well, there should be some over here. No, they don't. No, they don't have any sort of torque defenses besides just those Yassaos. At least the T3 tech side of things. In the western side, torque bombers being deployed by Freedom to deal with all of these Yassaos, and they are solaces that they are ripping through all of those hit points. That is the one downside to Yassaos, is they only have 4,000 hit points each. They can be wiped out pretty quickly by just a couple of the torque bombers. And now we see the slowdown has started to commence for Nick's side of things. He has now decided to invade the former position of Shimras and take another island. Again, it's some mass in the grand scheme of things. He's producing SACUs nonstop, so he doesn't really, quote-unquote, need more mexes, but it's always nice to have a couple of extra mexes, because why not? Yeah, Sal's getting into this position, going after all of the SACUs, producing some torp launchers to try to just shove these away. And destroyers do have torp defenses on board, but it's only a small portion of what they can do. You can only defend against so many. Those destroyers definitely going to get overwhelmed by that bomb. I think that's a little overkill there from that experimental bomber, but hey, overkill didn't really hurt anybody, at least on some indications, for some bombs or whatnot. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with it. SSU's hurriedly scooping up all this mass. I'm assuming the mass is just going to skyrocket to 1 million at some point. Oh, no, yeah, 600,000 mass on the field, because, you know, 28 minutes on the clock. Able to produce 3 game enders alone with the reclaim. SACUs blowing up, looks like in this group. They're being taken out. Of course, standing next to one another is a little bit dangerous. They have a little bit of AoE on board, so it's going to be just one of those things you got to watch out for. But it's hard to essentially micro that, keeping them together but not together. We do see a couple of SACUs fleeing this way. Actually, no, they're just, looks like they're on a patrol going for a reclaim. I don't know why they're going that far out, because there's a clump of mass there as well. Yassau is invading the naval position to the northwest of Sir Traylon, and he's trying to deploy all the torp launchers he can. There's just so many Yassaus. And another explosion in my right ear. There it is. Another SACU goes down. And it's just a slog at this point. And Nick is just overwhelming his opponent. We do see that Just Attic is slowly getting ahead of his Phantom. Oh, it was at 3K, but looks like that probably was reclaimed. But they're staying in lockstep roughly with one another. So there's no... Yeah, look, there it goes. 3.1, 2.9, that sort of thing. We do see Yassa's essentially cleansing the torp defenses of Sir Traylon. We do see a lot of these donuts online for Freedom, who's on a transport with a bunch of everything. He's left his main base and has decided to just hold up here. He's going to land all of his engineers and all of his SACUs. I don't know why he keeps going back and forth, but he's doing something over there. Another wave of torp bombers are inbound. And looks like they're going after, I mean, maybe they're going after more Seraphim battleships. Maybe they'll go after SACUs. I don't really know what they're going for. Looks like the torps have launched. And yeah, they are going after the SACUs, so slowly whittling away the eco in the reclaim side of things for Ick. And now you can see it's being a little bit more standoffish. Maybe he's showing a sign of weakness and drawing in the forces of Ick to push in, and that will give him a better advantage. Because he's, of course, reclaiming all the time as well, so he's getting a lot of mass from everything that he's blowing up and that his opponents are blowing up. This is, again, the one downside to... Ooh, that's all SACUs. That's what that giant clump is. Ooh, that was rough. Yeah, I noticed that in the corner of my eye and went, ooh, that's not great for Sir Traylon. He's going to, yeah, look at that eco. Now he's dropped to 340. That was a lot of his SACUs. He is not going to be happy about that. But anyway, the one downside with the Phantom players being positioned like this is you don't get that kind of will they, won't they engage scenario with Phantoms, because if they're right next to one another, you get that a lot. You just get units essentially lining up. And then even if there's an Innocent in between them, you still kind of have that. Because they're on the opposite sides of the map, they don't really have to worry about an engagement because they'll see it a mile away. Because Nick is pushing the southern side, and we do see that, not Ignis, but Justin Attic is pushing the northern side. There goes another wave of bombers. Looks like some AoE actually on the bomber itself from the dropped payloads. Ooh, gotta watch those turns there, and actually dies because of it. But Sir Traylon is pretty much knocked down. He still has a couple of naval forces online and facilities. It's not that much available to him at this point. In the southeast, it's just spam Yasows, spam battleships, spam engineers, a couple of cruisers. I don't see any aircraft carriers, which is very interesting. Usually you see them stacking up somewhere back here. They could be back here as well. Yeah, there are some back here just for some air production, but usually you see some of them move out just to assist with some AA. But it looks like Ignis is not really going with... Oh, okay, well, no, he's getting his own bomber stacked up as well. And yeah, he's just producing Yasow after Yasow after Yasow, and those Tor bombers constantly coming in for Nick, wiping out everything that they can, essentially softening up either the battleships or the SACUs or both, because that's a lot of forces inbound still. Team Innocent trying to hold on the southern side, but that's a tall order. Bombers going in, going after more Yasows, but it's not enough. And slowly but surely, Ignis is going to be knocked out. It just depends on when those Phantoms break with one another. Looks like Sir Traylon's trying to plead to his Phantom opponent, like, why, like, hey, please stop fighting, please. I mean, he's already wiped out one of the Innocent players and almost about to do another one. And that is, again, the danger of these Phantom games, where if one Phantom does a lot of the fighting, the other one can just be, well, I'm just going to eco, I'm going to build some game enders, I'm going to hang out, not going to worry about a whole lot. And that puts him in a great position to overtake, because the Phantoms, of course, they don't win together. It is a one-for-all kind of scenario for them. Sorry, all for one, not one for all. It is an all-for-one scenario. It is a victory or defeat. Even if one of the Phantoms loses, the other one wins, and all the Innocents lose in that as well. So the Phantoms have to be very careful with how much damage they inflict to the Innocents. There could be, there are definitely those games where Phantoms just wipe out the Innocents and then have a duking battle. But there are situations where some Innocents will help out a Phantom and try to take out the other Phantom and then fight one another after that. There are those scenarios as well. So it just determines on the level of willingness on a Phantom's part of view to just side with the Innocents for a little bit, or at least ally with them for a little bit. And you can see now those battleships are getting closer and closer and closer and closer to that little island there. Also some Yasows coming in from the west. Of course, not GG Red. I mean, it was 3v2 Phantom saying that Freedom didn't really do much. Well, to be fair, Freedom is still holding on. Tons of these aircraft carriers pummeling this position. And with all these hives nearby, they're keeping these shields online with all of these nice little volcanoes. I would love to see a little bit more expansion in that regard, just to keep it more secure. But now we see a second Innocent wiped out. That is Sir Traylon. So now it's essentially the 12 o'clock position and the 6 o'clock position of Innocent's main bases remaining. There are those donuts over here producing not SSUs, but ASFs. Some people play SimCity. It just depends, I think. I mean, the Phantoms can play SimCity, the Innocents can play SimCity. It just depends on how much is needed on that side of the map. Because it could be good for one player to play SimCity and build a Maver or two and then wipe out an entire base. Like, that could be really nice. Or it's not nice, depending on what that player doing SimCity actually does. But now we see, look at these battleships just pummeling everything across the map. Those, of course, missiles coming in from these cruisers aren't helping any situation for Team 2's, not for Team 2, but for Team Innocent. And there we see a nice little Awasa bomber online. That's a lot of flak, though. And that bomber might not make it out. We see actually another bomber over there for the other Phantom player. I can remember what his name was off the top of my head because I have to look at the... Oh, yeah, just Natic. Yeah, that's his name. And now these battleships getting into very close proximity. This position not going to feel good. Shimus is like, oh, that's not... See, even I did it. I thought that was him. And he's probably... he's actually down here. You got to look for the armored command unit rather than the SACU. And there goes that bomber. He is going to try to slow this progress, but it's only going to be slowing it a little smidgen. More SACUs coming offline for Team Innocence Ick. And now we just see, look at this, Phantom on the eastern side has the entire eastern seaboard to himself. And almost about halfway down the map as well. He almost has 50% of the map under his control. And it just makes me think that, oh, Sir Traylon control. Okay, no, he's up here, I thought. Oh, no, somebody else died. It looks like it was Ignis as well. He died over here. So Team Innocent loses 2 players back-to-back. There's where Sir Traylon control kit up there. So now it's Shimras and Freedom Cobra versus the 2 Phantoms. And at this point, I mean, these Phantoms are about ready to duke it out. And they can see everything that the other player can see. And now we see your alliance with Nick has broken. So yeah, they've decided to throw in the towel with the alliance and just go at one another. We do see a couple of these SACUs fleeing. There's one up here, maybe offered as a sacrificial lamb or something. It looks like it's going to actually fall back. Maybe there's been an alliance made. Yeah, it looks like an alliance has been made with Nick just so he can rebuild on that position. He does not decide to have an alliance with Freedom. He's going to bombard that position. Essentially, I think Nick's idea is just get them to the point where they can't fight back whenever you want to shoot them or take them out, essentially. In this position, there's really nothing left that Shimras can do, so there's really no point in trying to eliminate him entirely. It's better to focus on this. Multiple bombers are inbound. We see 5 of them moving in, 6 of them moving in, and they're going to carpet bomb everything. There is some AA in the mix, but that AA is probably not going to last much longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a great bombardment there. Ooh, that is not great for that fleet there from Nick. Justin Addicts. Mighty bombers coming in to wipe that Navy off the map. ASF fight over here between the 2 Phantom players. Looks like they're going after the bombers primarily. It will net Attic the air victory, but the bombers are the bigger threat. One goes down. Looks like more of them already went down. Another one's going to fall out of the sky, and another one's going to fall out of the sky. That one might make it, and 2 of them do make it out of range of the... Oh, no, that one dies as well. So 4 of the 6 of them die to that ASF horde from Nick. That was definitely worth the price, I feel like, for Nick's idea or thinking, because he took off a huge amount of firepower. Now we see a group of forces up here for Just Attic attacking this vector, so it's going to, of course, draw his attention slightly over to the mid section. We do see a lot of AA being built to try to just alleviate any sort of bombing runs that anybody on the western side of the map will try to do. Large group of restorers are inbound, though. Are they going after the Phantom player? They are. I feel like at this point, Freedom should just... Oh, nope. It looks like he has allied himself with Attic. I will apologize. Yep, there it is. He has allied with him. They're not going to attack one another. Some Vespers coming in to take out the SACUs. They are going to slowly whittle away all those hit points. But again, Yassau's are much better at dealing with that. Large group of hives producing all of these SACUs for the eco side of things for Just Attic. Just trying to scale that eco as much as possible. Don't stop building mass. Don't stop building mass is the idea in this game. Look at this position over here. So many SACUs. Look at them all. Look at it. I'm going to zoom in. Zoom out all the way. See how many he has. 227 versus Just Addicts. 223, so we're really staying lockstep with one another. But the mass discrepancy, of course, comes from the other T3 mexes that Nick has in that secondary position. More bombers inbound. They're going after the battleships, it looks like. Of course, the Yassaus can emerge from the water, and they have decent AA on board, so they actually can fight back against the bombers quite nicely. There are more battleships inbound, and it's just going to be a Seraphim Civil War at this point. One Aeon and one Seraphim have been defeated. There's only one Aeon remaining, and he's in the northwest. We have a lot of restorers overhead, but the Yassals, have some of them emerged? No, they haven't emerged. They would be wiped out by those air-to-ground weapons on board the restorers. They're attacking those battleships. Again, 49,000 hit points versus 4,000. Yeah, you can kind of see why they won't emerge. Lots of ASFs, though, for just Attic. 440 to be precise. You see more bombers inbound. But again, this is going to be diminishing returns as Nick just produces AA, either mobile or otherwise. This one has killed off 170,000 mass. That might be the one that knocked out all of those Traylon SACUs is probably what that one was. Very devastating bomber that one was, but it's just... Again, they're fighting in the middle of the map. There's no damage being done besides a couple of artillery emplacements, apologies, from Nick 01 going after, of course, the mass fabs in all of these hives. We have another facility producing SACUs. So we have this one right here, and then we have this one down here. Is there another one up here? There's another one up here. So Just Attic doing very well at utilizing all of his land mass and just producing mass as much as possible. You can see he's caught up, and in some instances is actually ahead of his phantom opponent, or frenemy, I guess would be another way to put it. Still, this position has not wavered. All of these volcanoes holding a position, doing a very good job of dealing with all the missiles inbound. Surprised no more volcanoes or even artillery or something isn't built in this position to help. And that artillery is targeting the main base. There are shields covering pretty much everything. I don't know where the comm is, but I'm assuming the comm's hiding underneath something. I can always click on him to figure out where he is. He's actually over here. He was in front of my face the entire time. Nothing to worry about that. Another Awasa bomber over the top, and this avenue, I mean, it is viable for some instances, but there's so much AA. 200 facilities online and more being produced all the time. I don't think it's going to really work, especially with all the AA on board the Yassas. You can see them, look at this, they're drawing in all of those bombers and they're wiping them out. Hundreds of Torp bombers just being cleansed from the skies from Just Attic. Addict, excuse me, I keep saying, I don't say the T at the end of his name. It's just devastating amount of damage being done to that Air Force. And those artillery pieces still raining in shots. Looks like there's a third one online here for Nick. So he has 3 of them. He isn't going for the Pigeon adjacency, probably just due to land mass availability. Actually, he has 4 of them, apologies. And the fact that that could be a huge cascade, and he definitely doesn't want to deal with that on that small island. He has his own Awasa bomb. Actually, yeah, he has his own Awasa bombers on as well. And it looks like Team Phantom or Phantom Frenemies have kind of just decided to focus in the middle and not down here. Shimras is trying to establish himself once again, getting some more eco online. But he is being shot at because there's some engineers running around from Nick. It's a nice little friendly fire damage, frenemy fire damage, I think would be the better way to put that. Still, I don't understand all of this. I don't understand why there's so much so many transports, and the comm is still on the transport. I don't really like that idea. He's just sitting up there. I don't like that particularly, because if ASFs come in, he's going to get wiped out very easily. And I will admit, like I said, that position's still holding, and it's distracting just some of Nick's forces. Not a lot, just a little bit, which is better than nothing, I guess. He could be probably building more shields and more Team D to really push this force back, but he isn't really focused on that. He's focused on producing some Torp bombers. So I wonder to see what he's going to do with that. It just depends on if he gets the chance to show it off or not. Artillery, though, 4 pieces are online. And that is a concerning amount of... Oh, there it is! The artillery broke through, took out a chunk of SACUs and some power reserves. The mass fabs also took a hit as well. Ooh, let's It's not looking good here for Justin Addict's base. Needs to get more shielding online. We see Nick has pretty much claimed the middle of the map, bar, of course, the northern and southern innocents hanging out down here. Outside Bomber hanging out. No real worries there. Engineers just reclaiming. They're just having a fun time. No real worries there. It's like, hey, you can be here and reclaim. Just don't cause any trouble, essentially. Bomber is inbound, and the hives are the ones being targeted down here, taking out the SACU producing facilities. Bomber thinks possibly better of it. No really a need for all the air, says Freedom to Justin Attic. I think it's due to the fact that Nick's not really producing his own ASFs, or if he is, he's not really deploying them as much. So all of these ASF are kind of just dummy units. I mean, it's nice to have, don't get me wrong, but it could be better spent, I think, is what Freedom is commenting on. Bomber does drop a payload, and those SACUs, that's going to hurt. The Bomber does get taken out. Ooh, it looks like most of them make it out decently damaged, but only a couple of them get taken out due to the artillery that was raining in. So this position pretty much knocked out for the time being. 45 minutes on the clock here. And now we see Nick continue to just push and push. It is slow. It is relenting. It is not going to stop. Now we see Cobra and Justin Attic just kind of sharing an island up here. There are still some Aeon forces over here. Some nice little omens. Nuke is launched. Where is that from? Team Innocent. Team Phantoms Nick 01 or Phantom 01 and Phantom 02, essentially, using Nick's own name for number scheming. Where is that nuke going? It looks like it's going to this. Looks like it's going to that island. That's the only thing I can think of in that trajectory. Unless he goes for all those ASFs, which that would be deadly. More bombers inbound, but again, there are ASFs from Nick here. One bomber gets taken out. The other one's now being targeted. And that's just a cleansing. There goes another bomber here. So 2 of the 3 get knocked out. There's a lot of AA and torpedo creep inbound from Nick. Again, just trying to secure his territory as much as possible. And here comes the first nuke of the game. Kaboom! Takes out that entire island. No SMD for shame. There could have been an SMD there, but there is no longer. There is one SMD over here. There isn't over on this eastern side. So there, it could be clipped. Yeah, it could be clipped a little bit, but not much. And there's just bombers after bombers after bombers coming in. Now we see the position for Freedom now being encircled. And he's becoming entrenched, but just sitting there. We are seeing some shots inbound from some battleships. And some SACUs are making their way onto the scene. So that position is going to fall. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Counter artillery online for Justin Attic using Sir Traylon's old position. He has one online with a couple of pigeons just to assist with the reload. It's not as volatile, so it's definitely a better choice in terms of preventing cascades. But Nick 01 is getting very close to Justin Attic's main island. If he loses that position, I don't know if anybody else in the game can counter Nick 01. He's been launching the assaults. He's the one that's on the offensive. Everybody else has been on the defense. And that's really shown by the fact that his territory has really not lost anything. Of course, the artillery coming in from the west definitely might change that a little bit. But at a minimum, there haven't been any enemy forces in Nick 01's point of view near his main island. I don't even know where his comm is. Oh, nope, that's his comm. Just all by his lonesome hanging out over here. Look at those huge group of SACUs running around. Just so much mass on those things. Gunships coming in to try to deal with all this incoming pressure, but there's not that many battleships here from Freedom, and there are this just kind of flotilla or this grouping of Tsars running around. I don't know if they're going to be used. There's so much more AA now online. 275, almost 300 so far. And you'd have to pretty much come from the north and then straight from that position. But at that point, Nick's going to notice that. Another nuke is outbound. Where is this one going? That's spider webbing and nonsense down there. It's going after this secondary island over here. That's where Freedom's going. Freedom almost gets shot down by that artillery coming in. Definitely not the best place to stand, that's for sure. Oh, sorry, stand. Best place to fly in. Another SACU going down. I don't see an SMD in that mix. That will be another dead island. Oh no, the SACUs. That's not a great position to do that in. Ooh, good thing the artillery wasn't. Oh, one gets hit. One transport gets hit. Oh, that's a nice little 5,000, 15,000 clump of mass that just an attic is not going to get. And here comes the nuke. Oh, it's just devastating. The entire island's going to be gone. Kaboom! That's the second secondary island knocked out by that nuke launcher. Sitting at 195,000 mass killed. Those are some very quality nukes there. And it's not going well for anybody else in this game. Just an Addict has, of course, teamed up with the remaining Innocents, and I'll probably assume Nick has done that with Shrimras, but not with, or Shimras, excuse me, I think I said his name right the second time. He hasn't done that with Freedom. The SACU is being dropped off back here. They need to deploy more of their friends. Oh. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing to look at right there. We'll see how that develops. That could be the thing that breaks the tide of combat and really forces essentially a worse engagement to happen with at least Nick. Maybe he'll produce a YOLO because of that. You doing anything over here like that? Nope, just hives. It's more hives. Don't see anything. Big ticket item, another grouping. Oh, he's building more artillery up here, so I guess he's doing a similar thing, but just doing artillery instead of nukes. Position for Attic is going to go down here shortly with the destruction of Freedom's position up here. It's left a wide open gap for Nick to exploit, and those artillery pieces are not going to live much longer. Shields are trying to hold. They're doing a very good job. There's so many hives assisting this one shield. Artillery, both in the missile and the actual shell department, not going to be able to break through. Lots of AA, though, on board all these aircraft carriers. They're whittling down all those restorers, but a couple of those a couple of those aircraft carriers are going to go down for the ASFs deploy, and they'll deal with those gunships very quickly, though. 5,000 mass income for Nick, 4,000 mass for Justin Attic, and then everybody else below 1,000. Shimras actually almost at 1,000 himself. Of course, how much mass and reclaim is on the field now? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 1.25 million mass in reclaim, and it is sitting on the western side of the map. That is just so much reclaim, more than I think. Oh no, I've definitely seen a match with something similar to that, but that's just so much reclaim to scoop up. It does look like the innocent player of Shimras has broken off engagements with Nick, decided to not marry him at the end of the day, or didn't like the way he looked or said something, or whatever the case happened. Now they're fighting once again, trying to provide a nice little buffer zone. It almost seems like the Innocents are doing their best to just protect Justin Attic, because he's the only player in any position to go after Nick 01, especially with the artillery to the west and soon to be YOLOs in the south. And that YOLO is going up decently quickly. I mean, this is at 0 speed, 51 minutes on the clock. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I do apologize for not getting this video out on Halloween. Of course, I was unavailable to really cast a game like this adequately on that old machine, or that other machine. It is not as great, of course. I wanted to really come back home and cast it on this one, which actually runs it at 0 speed and not -2 or whatever it was casting it at. Oh, there go the ASFs. Nice bomb there. Takes out a couple of the ASFs. Bomber takes out the SMD. And there's only one over there remaining. It's not a great situation for the nuke situation for Shimras. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the coverage. Another nuke is outbound. It's going somewhere. I don't know where it's going, but it's going somewhere. Is that T3 artillery targeting battleships? Is that what's really happening at this point? Yep, that is what's happening at this point. Trying to help out Shimras as much as possible. The nuke is inbound for either the battleships or it's inbound for the position over here. There is an SMD that just barely loaded. Oh, is it going to dip? Is it going to dip? No, it's not. It is going to get shot down, though. There it goes. So that nuke will be abated for a little bit. Yasao's going after more SACUs in the water. You gotta not put your feet in the water. You're gonna get snipped and cut and thrown to the gators. Because those gators are scary. And look at this, just pressure from all those missile launchers on board those cruisers. And over here, it's just not great. All the Yasaos have returned, and there's really no counter to them here from Shimras. He has some of his own, but there's so many more. That's only really going to go one way. How is the YOLO loading and going? Well, one is done. One has been started, or at least another one has. You never see them put together like this, but with low amounts of land to build on, you got to do something about it. It's either put it next to it or don't put it at all. So many hives trying to produce more and more battleships all the time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 artillery pieces still in this mix. Yeah, there's 4. And then there's 4 more up there. So 8 artillery pieces online for Nick. Tort bombers are inbound. 278 to be exact. And they're going after all those Yasaos. And that is going to be a bloodbath over there. ASF's coming in not only from Freedom, but also from Attic, and this is going to be a cleansing wave. Look at them just get evaporated. All those ASF as well from Nico 1. A huge air fight. -2, -1. It's dropping the sim speed even on this machine. Oh, that is not great. It just shows you how much stuff is going on. There's also some cruisers that these ASF are fighting over for Nick, so it's slowly whittling away the forces from Attic, but his artillery pieces are knocked offline, which was the thing he was trying to protect the entire time. The donuts, they just keep multiplying. There's 8 of them now over there. Don't know what Freedom's going to do with them, but hopefully he does something with them. But artillery raining in on Shimras's position, and he's not having a good day either. YOLO is loading. YOLO is building. 2 of them soon to be online. Dual YOLO could be enough to crack the everything. I wonder if Nick no, he doesn't know anything. He still thinks it's all destroyed. He hasn't got any spy plans out, which is essentially keeping that potential dual game ender position alive. All the Shimras is being shot at by artillery. Shields pop back online. There's only so much that those shields can take, though, and you can only assist them for so much damage. It just depends on how much build power you have available to you. Just so much artillery inbound. Now it's going after this position. Another Awasab bomber has been completed. And Justin Attic is still holding himself in this nice little water and land situation, so he can hop on the land or hop underneath the water just in case. Nick doing YOLO, says Shimras to Justin Attic. I'm an evac to you. Justin Attic says KK.
Strategic launch detected.
And then the nuke is going to land right here. There he goes. He's fleeing. You can see the exodus happening. It's going to get a decent chunk of SACUs. Another nuke is outbound. It is the YOLO. And it is going for this island over here. It isn't going to knock out a lot. I don't think that's the smartest play. I feel like the smartest play would be to just go after whatever he can in this region. Because now we see these Yasaos pushing in. It would have opened the door for a nice engagement. And then that will tell Nick that a YOLO is online. Second YOLO online as well. And they're both loading. It could fire at the same time. And there goes the nuke. Oh, kaboom! That's not great. Freedom and Shimras are talking about surrendering. Oof. Yeah, that was an oof. Yeah, that was not great. 299,000 mass killed from that nuke launcher. Oh, yeah, it looks like they're going to wait and fire them at the same time. SMDs, of course, need to be assisted as fast as possible because that one nuke could be more damaging than anything else in this game so far. Unless those YOLOs just wipe everything else out. It could be the saving grace that Justin Attic needs. And now it has essentially, for the most part, turned into a 3v1 game with 1 Phantom and 2 Innocents versus 1 Phantom in the northeastern corner, who has solidified that position quite well. Tons of facilities online in the northeast, just holding that position and just making it very difficult to try to take out. Oh, here we go. They're both going to load and fire. And they're both going to fire at the same time. Here we go. Artillery landing in the distance. There they go. Oh, they don't fire at the same time. Boo! Boo! They don't fire at the same time. Nuke is inbound. Another YOLO going to be built because why not? There isn't an SMD loaded. There is not one loaded there. They probably should build more SMDs just in case. Artillery's raining in. Probably build more shields. Now they go one after the other. What are they going for? Probably the main base, I would presume. You knock out the SMDs. That could be the game there for Attic. And there go the nukes. They're going to get shot down. But how many SMDs fire? Only 2 fires. Sometimes you get a third one to fire, which is really nice. But they've knocked out those 2. There's still a lot of SMDs loaded. There's 17 more to divide by 2. They can only deter 8 more unless more get loaded or built. Looks like they're building more shielding. Yeah, I feel like Nico won. I mean, he knows where they are. He sees them. He wants to deal with those dual YOLO nonsense. Are they going to fire again? Oh, please tell me you're going to fire at the same time. That'd be really cool.
Strategic launch detected.
No, that's Nick's launching. Oh, shields are going down. It's not looking good. SMD is probably not loaded. Shields popping on and off. There it is. There's the simultaneous launching. That was awesome. Dual YOLO nukes inbound. Oh, that's just a beautiful sight, isn't it? And the SACUs are just hurriedly trying to build them. You see that nuke going to sail right by it. Oh, that was close to hitting one another. Again, I have not seen a nuke impact the nuke. That would be a thing of beauty in a very, very, very rare instance. I've had a game where a satellite, essentially sacrifices itself to protect against the nuke. That was actually the thumbnail. I forget what the premise was, but some players were testing that out to see if it was actually an object that could take out a nuke, and it could. And possibly the devs patched that. I don't know, but it's still funny to watch. Essentially, the satellite would prep up and line up right in the arc of the YOLO, and it would crash into it and explode. It wouldn't do any damage on the ground because it was too far above the surface. But it'd be knocked out, which is better than nothing. And it was just the price of a satellite. You just rebuild that little satellite piece, and there you go. Of course, the YOLO is probably just primed to fire constantly. There goes another dual volley inbound. SACUs, they need to go back and load all those. Ooh, you got to go back and load those things. I mean, the shields are down pretty much, but the SMDs are essentially loading just enough. That's 2 YOLOs. I get the idea to just give up and go for these because, again, you don't want all the SACUs going down. But in this regard, the facility is still online. You can still keep it. And there goes another one. It actually gets a turn in. Did you see that? It gets one little turn in. Another nuke is outbound. It's spam loading. 500,000 mass scope with that one regular nuke launcher. This one is almost gone. This one has 3 loaded. Looks like that one actually took a hit, too. Looks like the nuke is actually going somewhere else. That actually would have taken out the YOLOs that are not actually even really shielded that much. And the SMD over there got taken out.
Strategic launch detected.
Dual loading, or dual firing engaged once again. Just a sight of beauty at this point. How many games can you say somebody like you, the viewer, have watched? Oh, kaboom! Up there to the north. Have watched where you've seen nukes in general, but YOLO specifically, fire at the same time. Of course, they're not coming in at the same time just because one is angled a little bit closer than the other one in terms of line of sight, or not, but direct line kind of thing. There they come. They're merging into one. SMDs are going to fire. Oh, another one gets fired off. Nice. They wasted an SMD. That's great for Team 2's just an addict. Artillery still raining in, though. Engineers coming in to assist. Engineers get taken out. Another nuke is primed here shortly from Nick. And do not tell me you're going to use the bombers for coverage. Do not tell me you're going to do that. I feel like that is not worth it. And unfortunately, there isn't an SMD loaded in sight. Had they been assisting those SMDs, it would have been fine. Another dual nuke is outbound. Oh, that's just such a waste, in my opinion. Could have easily been assisting that. That probably would have won the game. Oh, hello. 4 nukes are inbound from the eastern position over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them over here. So there's 7 nukes in play for Nick. Artillery. He has a lot more than I thought he did. Shimras builds an experimental, most likely a bomber, I would presume. But those nukes are inbound, and this nuke actually is not going to make it in time. Oh, that's a... Hold on. Let's just slow this down a little bit. Get a nice little view on it. Boom! It deserves a better... Boom! That took out so much. Look at that. Look at that thing. It looks really good. Oh, just a shockwave heard around the world at that point. Nothing remains except for a nice little 9,000 wreck. And with that destroyed, that's essentially the last huge issue for Nick to deal with. He's knocked out the northwestern corner for the most part. He's taken out the main base for just an attic. And there goes another nuke. Kaboom. Takes out the rest of the reclaim there. Unless somebody else on the innocent side was building a backup whatever. Oh, well, there's also all of these donuts that are still not doing anything. You got to do something with them. There's 11 of them now. We are seeing some naval units over here approach. That could be a nice little avenue. The main target would definitely be all of these nukes, though. Another nuke is going to fire. They're just firing constantly at this point. They're not going to stop.
Strategic launch detected.
I was going to say, please launch it right back there with all those SACs going to go right back. I feel like that was a missed opportunity from just an attic. He could have easily just kept spam loading SMDs, and it probably would have actually saved that position. And shield production. Both of them would have been a good idea, because one of those SMDs did get taken out by an artillery shot. Another nuke is outbound going for this position. SSU's not going to feel good there shortly. And Shimras still cloning himself at this point. SSU's inbound. They're going to go to that position. That is not... Oh, looks like it actually got shot down by an SMD from Shimras. That would have been very devastating for the innocent side of things. The donuts are fleeing, and now they're covering this position. I don't know what innocents are going to do with that, but they have, again, have they multiplied again? 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 12 of them now. There used to be 11. Where is he producing all of them? He has to be producing them somewhere. I don't see them anywhere on the map. And I don't know what he's doing with all this stuff down here. A lot of bomber. Oh, that's a lot of bombers. 16 of them, in fact, but 2 of those are under construction, so 14. That's concerning. Oh, this might be the thing that just the western side of the map needs. You can see they're just in this little corner at this point. 1 hour, 4 minutes. I cannot imagine how long these players have actually been playing for. But 14 bombers is a lot of bombers to have. And all these donuts over here, you could just send in the bombers and then send the donuts in after that and just essentially not comm drop, but just bombard the land with all of the wrecks. Essentially kamikaze is essentially the idea at that point. Position for Shimras not looking too good. Lots of artillery pieces, of course, landing in all the time. The nukes over here still a very dangerous threat for the rest of the match. And we do see, of course, that main nuke, 645,000 mass killed and 5 artillery pieces with 4 in the main base. 9 artillery pieces still have not ended the game with 7 nuke launchers. Now we see restorers inbound from all of these czars, taking out just whatever they can at this point. ASF's moving in to intercept. This is the time to move the bombers. Looks like the spy planes are outbound to see what's going on. And they'll definitely see what's going on over there. Artillery raining in on this position, though. Shields should be fine. I think there's only one shot inbound. Nothing too dangerous. Gunships putting out a lot of missiles, to be fair. And those ASF do not want to engage the ones from Addict. Still, I don't know what's going on down here from Freedom, though. He's not really doing a whole lot. Is he rebuilding the YOLO? No, he's not rebuilding it. Sad. Sad he's not rebuilding the YOLO. Oh, here they come. Here come the bombers. This is probably the last-ditch effort here for everybody else in the game. They're going for those nukes. And Nick can see that those aircraft, most likely ASFs flying overhead, they'll get wiped out. That position over there, it's essentially a scene out of the beginning of Forged Alliance expansion for the Subcom base game. Oh, there goes. Oh, no. Oh, there's going to be a lot of AoE friendly fire. There goes the fighting. They all impact. There go the cascading effect of the nukes. Bombers going after the main base. A lot of them severely damaged. Are they going to be able to drop a payload? They are. Oh, ASF's going to get caught up in the engagement. All of those bombers pretty much wiped out. Shields are down. Nothing really devastating happened. A couple. Actually, all the artillery are fine. The Hastue main launcher is fine. The base over here is just gone. But the artillery still remain up here, so that is, one problem solved for everybody else in the game, but there's still that other problem of artillery to deal with. More and more and more of them stacking up, forming a nice little, I don't even know what they're trying to form, triangle, and nice little hexagon. 1 hour, 7 minutes. Freedom's got to be doing something with all of these donuts. He's built 12 of them at this point. He might as well engage. That would have been the perfect time to bring in the bombers. Bring in the Tsars. Bring them in, come in, and just deal with the rest of this. AA is just going to be spammed by Nick at this point. Another nuke is outbound. Where is it from? I mean, assuming it's from over here, but I guess not. Oh, no, it's up here. A YOLO has been built. Apologies. Completely missed that one. And it's going after this grouping of SACUs. They're like, oh, we're going to build an artillery piece. Oh, okay, psych, we're not. Another donut's going to be built here shortly. I just feel like the time for those donuts has passed at this point. Nick's going to counter the everything of them. 312 AA emplacements and more on the way. Yassau's down the middle. It is not looking good for the southwestern side. If you're rooting, oh, it lands. Ooh, kaboom. Takes out everything on that island. Luckily, the comm of just an addict isn't anywhere nearby. Another nuke is inbound. Artillery raining in all the time. Looks like the SACUs, I don't know what they're doing. It's just they're going to stack up and help build donuts. Just don't know what this side of the map can do at this point. You can see the influence spreading even further west at this point.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke launch is inbound. And it's just spam firing and loading those super nukes. Look at the speed at which those things are loading. Look at that. Look at that bar in the southwestern corner of the screen. Dang. Oh, there goes another kaboom. Oh, is that? Nope, that's not him. Thought that was him, but he's stuck in. He's stuck gating in. Oh, SACUs on transports with the comm. Not a great idea. Got to get those things landed. Another line of bombers going to be built. Nick builds another experimental. I'm assuming it's another YOLO at this point.
Strategic launch
Nope,
detected.
it's an Awasa bomber. Never mind. Another nuke is outbound. Nothing I can do, says Freedom to Shimras. I mean, you have so many donuts. You could try to throw the donuts at your opponent. I mean, that's a lot of donuts. I mean, some of them, most of them probably will not make it because of all of the AA that's now. Actually, probably none of them will make it.
Strategic launch detected.
But if they came in with those bombers, they would have done something. I don't know if he's trying to keep them over the head of just an addict, so when Nick get defeated, then it would just be an easy win. I don't... At this point, he's going to lose anyways. So I don't know why. Just don't Just send him in at this point. I don't know why he's keeping them in reserve. Oh, that's a nice grouping of SACUs taken out. Kaboom! How much mass is that nuke killed? 857,000 mass. 280,000 mass. YOLO's going in the back. Is this the com? Nope, that's not. Is that the com? That's the com. Gonna take out another SSU and them Shimras. Ooh, there goes another grouping of naval facilities. They're not even really being focused down or focused on, so not really a huge threat there. I can speed this up a little bit. It's just there was multiple opportunities for the southwestern side of the map to fight back, but it just wasn't in the cards. Kaboom! Takes out another chunk of SACUs. And credit to everybody else still alive. They're not surrendering or anything. They're trying to stay in as much as possible, so I do appreciate the tenacity. But it's just the YOLOing at this point, and there's really nothing that can fix this here for Justin Attic and everybody else on that southwestern side. Red and Cobra says, no, I did things. I mean, you have the donuts. You still haven't used anything. I mean, I know you're probably producing aircraft in them, but you could be using them. I had the flotilla. Oh, please. Oh, yes. Please nuke the... Oh, they're going to move. I think a couple of them are going to get clipped. One does get clipped. There we go. There goes one. There goes two. Oh, three of them get taken out from that nuke. That's a nice grab. Kaboom. Oh, that was not great. 1.03 million. There it is. How much did this one kill? 859. Both of those nukes did very, very well.
Strategic launch detected.
Now there's just salt and chat at this point. My turn, says Nick. And there's still the donuts over here. Oh, there they go. Oh, nice grab. Oh, nice bombing over there. Actually, they impacted right there. They didn't impact where I thought they would. The AA on board those donuts, able to deal with most of those bombers. This is a very weird engagement going on. Just an attic control case, leaving one phantom remaining. Yeah, there's really wasn't going to go anywhere. Once the YOLOs got taken out and then that attack got halted or got not as much damage done as I thought it was going to happen, it was over for the innocents. One innocent remains. That is Freedom Cobra. That's it. I'm not going to repeat that comment over there. Oh, there they go. There goes the Exodus. What is he? Oh, please get hit by artillery. That'd be very entertaining. What is this? No, it's called having fun. What? I don't... Hold on. Let me do a thing really quick. What? This is the weirdest engagement I have. There he goes. He gets taken out. Was that from artillery or was that Control K? I don't think it really matters at this point, but I think that is the game. That is the game. 1 hour, 14 minutes, 9 seconds. Nick wins the game as the Phantom. Man, that was rough for everybody else in this game, especially that later half where Justin Attic had a huge chance to win this game. Had he just stuck with it, had he built more SMDs, had he built more shields, had he just done all of that, it would load more SMDs, I should say, and build more shields. He would have been fine, and he probably would have won the game right there. I don't understand what Freedom Cobra was going to do with these donuts. I know it's nice being able to produce aircraft in them, but aircraft carriers would have been better. And then you could have launched the donuts at the attack with the bombers, and then that probably would have done a lot of damage. Granted, Nick possibly could have recovered from that, but it would have really given a little bit more time for the rest, everybody else, to try to fight back. But that is the game, everybody. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 9 seconds. Obviously, the MVP is Nick because he won the game. But let me know down in the comments what you felt about the match overall. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And again, as always, thank you so very much for watching to the very end of the video. And I will see all of you in the next one.